Hey guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod bundle. It is time for the long-awaited Raider overhaul project that I've been working on for quite a while now. Just trying to get all of the leveled lists fleshed out and everything. So, really quick, before we begin, my goal here is to add variety and lore friendliness to the Raiders. I'm not trying to make them super modern. I'm not trying to replace any of the vanilla assets. I'm purely trying to add to the Raider level list to make them as varied and realistic to fight as possible, and to give your Commonwealth a lot more content when it comes to Raiders, because they are the most fought faction. It only makes sense that they don't all look identical. So let's get right into it. And another quick note before we begin, we will not be using the Raider Overhaul Work in Progress mod. I know it's very popular and that is most people's go-to, but that mod breaks a lot of compatibility with a lot of the mods that we're going to be using today, and it streamlines you into really only one way to use the mod. And it adds a lot of things that maybe if you don't want them added, you're kind of stuck with. So this is a better way to kind of customize your experience and tailor it to exactly how you want to play. And if your favorite mod is missing from my list, believe me, I tried to get as many as I could in as possible without breaking the leveled lists. So if you don't see your favorite mod, it's because it just didn't work. So if you think you are tech savvy enough to do it yourself, then by all means take my list and tweak it to your fit. But if not, maybe stick a little bit closer to what I have in the video here. Alright, sorry for taking away from the mods themselves. I just kind of wanted to get that out there. If you want to make sure that these get installed correctly, watch all the way through to the end and we will do another brief overview of what everything should look like in your leveled list. Alright guys, so first up we have the mod Raider Gangs Extended by Specific, which adds all kinds of new Raider gangs into the game to help diversify your enemy type, so it's not just the same Raider or Raider Scum or different variants like you're used to. You will actually find named Raider gangs that can attack you in different locations, some of the same locations and some of them different and new, so be careful out there. There might be some places that used to be safe that are now filled with new Raider gangs. Some of these come with their own armor sets, and some of them will use the classic Raider stuff, so whenever we add armors later, it will cover these guys as well. Next up, to fix a problem that I have with my game, and maybe this isn't one for you, we have no more pipe guns, which is going to remove the pipe weapons from the game. And if you like the pipe weapons, ignore this part, but if you hate them as much as I do, then we're going to use no more pipe guns by Canadian Gold 96, as well as leveled Raiders by Cthorthu, I think that's right. The reason we need leveled Raiders is once you take out no more pipe guns, a lot of the Raiders are still level 1 and won't have access to any weapons besides pipe guns, so they'll be running around with just their fists. Using level Raiders will bring them up to your level and make them use some of the more guns in the game, including modded weapons that you add later. I'm not going to use any specific weapon mods in this video, just take any weapon mods that you like that affect the Raider level list, add them to your game along with level Raiders, and it should work perfectly fine. Just keep in mind to use some lower level weapons like the Ingram Mac 10 or melee weapons, etc. And that'll pretty much flesh out your Raider weapon leveled lists. Now moving on to armors, before we get into some new armors, we need to take care of the old ones, because like we said, we're not replacing, we are adding. We're going to use the Raider armors Retextured by Oh Dear. This adds a really nice retexture that completely changes the way that the vanilla Raider armors look into a way that I personally like a lot. It makes them higher quality as well as gives them a gray, brown, red, and yellow scheme, which you will see becomes a prevalent theme with the rest of our armor mods here. It's something that over all of the mods kind of stays true, so no matter who you fight, they will look all different, yet they'll all look like Raiders, and you'll see that come together shortly here. Up next, we have the Capital Wasteland Classic Metal Armor by XGamer486, which adds the metal armor from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas into the game. It'll start spawning later in your game, so you won't find it immediately, but once you do start finding it, you'll find some really heavy Raiders that have some pretty sizable armor and aren't just pushovers. Up next, a pretty recent release, the Capital Wasteland Raider Pack by DogtoothCG, TheFriedturkey, and HcGxGrill adds all of the amazing Raider armors from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas into the game, and they are completely added to the leveled list. You will find them on Raiders almost immediately, and they look beautiful and fit perfectly with the type of Raiders that we're making today. Now moving on to some of the actual Raider armor pieces, as all of the mods prior have been full armor sets. These are going to be pieces that go over under armor. So first we're going to be using the Toxic Raider armor by GrinnginUrchen, which adds this beautiful armor set you see in front of you into the game. This adds one undersuit as well as a bunch of over armor pieces, separated by chest, arms, face masks, etc. And on top of that, we're going to need the Toxic Raider armor worn by NPCs level list patch by Pendan. This is going to make these armors actually appear on your Raiders, all as separate pieces, so you could find somebody wearing Raider leathers as well as armor from this mod here. Now, sadly, the under armor itself, the red pants that you see, will not be in our leveled lists, at least not very often, because we are going to be using Clothing of the Commonwealth by CrimsomRider. Clothing of the Commonwealth adds tons of new armor sets as well as variations of each armor set. These will appear on settlers and also raiders, and each set has about 4 variations with shorts, shoes or no shoes, stuff like that, just to make everybody feel unique. Even if they're wearing the same armor set, it might not be exactly the same. So this will overtake the clothing slot from the Toxic Raider armor. So if you really like the Toxic Raider armor that much, don't install Clothing of the Commonwealth. But I prefer the variety and am willing to make that sacrifice, especially because the armor pieces from Toxic Raider armor will still go over the clothes from Clothing of the Commonwealth. Moving on, we have 3 armor sets that are all separate mods. So first is Fallout London Junkie Knight Armor by DrakeDaeron, Echoes from the Midwest Metal Armor Mark 1, also by DrakeDaeron, and finally Echoes from the Midwest Raider Armor by DrakeDaeron. These 3 mods add the armor sets that you see in front of you, which are all really good handmade looking armor sets for raiders. The problem is these armors, even though they say will spawn in the leveled list, either don't spawn or spawn very, very rarely. So I have made a patch, Echoes from the West leveled list patch by DegenerateDak myself, which will bring all 3 of these armor sets together and spread them out throughout the Wasteland on top of all of the armors that you've seen before. So as long as you installed the mods correctly, and we'll go over that in a little bit, all of the armors that we've shown should spawn together pretty seamlessly. Now, just because you're not seeing them immediately doesn't mean that it's not working. It could be because you're either the wrong level or they're just spawning a little bit rarely, but they're out there. I've been doing extensive testing, and this set of mods works really well together and will spawn once your character gets to about level 10, maybe 20 for everything. Alright guys, before we end the video, we're going to go over really quickly how these mods should appear in your load order. That way you don't have any contradictions or conflicts, so everything works together nicely. So firstly, you should be using the Raider Armor Retextured mod by Tier, because this is just a retexture, doesn't affect leveled lists, and doesn't need to be very low in your load order. Then we are going to do Raider Gangs Extended, which adds all of the new gangs and raiders that we can add armors onto later. Then we are going to use leveled raiders, which will increase the raiders so that they level with you as opposed to staying at level 1. Then we are using the Capital Wasteland Classic Metal Armor so that it appears less often. The Capital Wasteland Raider Pack, because if you have it lower, it will be the only armor that you see. Followed by Toxic Raider Armor and its leveled list patch. Then Clothing of the Commonwealth. Then Fallout London, Junkie Knight Armor. The Echoes from the Midwest Metal Armor and Echoes from the Midwest Raider Armor, and finally my leveled list patch for all 3 of those. And at the very, very end, you will have the No More Pipe Guns mod. And yeah, once you have all these together, you should see a really nice variety amongst your raiders. So yeah guys, as we close the video, we are of course going to do our AMA question of the day, and this comes from user Gundam Guy, who asks, here's an AMA question for you. Have you ever done any quest mods, and if so, what is your favorite quest mod? And this doesn't specify what game or what Fallout even, so I'm going to drop a few here. For Fallout New Vegas, anything by Some Guy 2000 is amazing, including Russell or New Vegas Bounties, all amazing mods, as well as the Christmas special mod from a few years back that was really, really funny. It has like 7 or 8 hours of content itself. It is just awesome. Now for Fallout 4, I haven't messed with Fallout 4 quest mods a whole lot, and there haven't been a ton in the way of like the big expansive quest mods that there were for New Vegas. But recently we featured a little tiny quest mod called Old Time Religion, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was really, really neat, and it was like a small bite-sized little package that was really well made, adds a bunch of cool content, connects Fallout 4 to New Vegas in a pretty neat way, and I really enjoyed that one. So if you want to, check out that video or check out the mod for yourself. You can go, the link will be in that video's description. So yeah guys, if you have a question for me or you just want a chance to get featured in a video, feel free to drop an AMA question below in the comments, or check out my Discord. If you want to be invited, just drop a comment below and I will give you a link. We will also be taking AMA questions from there. And pretty soon we will be transitioning to take all of our AMA questions from there, so get into the Discord while you can. And yeah guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you need help with anything, join that Discord, because there is a load order help section and I can help you out in there a lot better than I can in the comment section. Again, I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel and you really like what you see, consider subscribing. It helps out the channel and helps us grow. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Yeah, that's right. We have a Discord now. And I'll be in here sometimes.